Alright, this question reads, a hobbyist is stocking her aquarium with exactly 3 fish of different types and with exactly 2 species of plants. The only fish under consideration are AG, NH, AJ, AK, and NL, and the only kinds of plants under consideration are of the species W, X, Y, and Z. She will observe the following conditions. Alright, so we've got our 2 groups, a group of fish and a group of plants. Okay, and we have one of each of the following. We have a G, an H, a J, a K, and an L. Alright, and then we have 4 different types of plant species. So we've got W, X, Y, and Z. Alright, so I want you to note that with the 2 groups, I'm making plants lowercase so that visually it's going to be a lot easier for us to see what's a plant and what's a fish just by looking at the different letters, okay? So now, we know that the hobbyist has 3 fish and 2 plants. Okay, now let's go ahead and hit the rules. Rule number 1. If she selects the G, she can select neither the H nor a Y. Alright. So if the hobbyist selects a G, then she can select neither the H nor can she select the Y. Okay? Now contrapositive, if she selects the Y or the H, then she cannot select the G. Okay? So here we see that we have a H, Y, and a G all crossed out on the necessary side. What does that tell us? That means that we cannot have all of G, H, and Y together. Okay? So we know no matter what, G and H can't be together. So we know not both. We know that G and Y can't be together. Alright? Now let's go to rule number 2. She cannot select the H unless she selects the K. Alright, so if she selects the H, then she also selects the K. Now, contrapositive, if she doesn't select the K, she doesn't select the H. Now you can look and see that we don't have these 2 variables on the same side as each other. We've got K being selected and then H not being selected here. Therefore, we don't have a similar situation as rule number 1. Okay, now let's go to rule number 3. Okay, rule number 3 states she cannot select the J unless she selects a W. Similar to rule number 2. And then contrapositive, if she doesn't select the W, then she doesn't select the J. Alright, now let's go to rule number 4. If she selects the K, she must select an X. Contrapositive, if she doesn't select the X, then she doesn't select the K. Alright, so one thing I want you to notice is the only rule that kind of touches on just one type of variable, either just fish or just plants, is rule number 2. Alright, all the other rules are dealing with both plants and fish. Now I want you to notice rule number 2. We have if we have an H, then we also have a K. Now if we don't have a K, we don't have an H. And there's only 3 fish that are available, or 3 fish that can be in an aquarium. Therefore, if we're taking out 2 of the fish, as in the contrapositive of 2, then we're only left with 3 fish. Meaning, if we don't have a K and we don't have an H, we can only have a G, J, and an L. So that's a really good deduction to write down. So we know if we don't have a K, then we're going to be left with this scenario where we have a G, a J, and an L. That's because if we don't have a K, we also don't have an H, leaving us with just G, J, and L. Then if we have a G, we don't have an H and we don't have a Y. All right, and then if we have a J from rule number 3, we know we have to have a W.